Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Soleil, and I wanted to preface my vlog. I know who prefaces vlogs? Me, apparently. I recorded this vlog during Ramadan, and it has taken a bit of a life of its own in the editing process. So I just wanted to say that the purpose of this video was in hopes to, inshallah, help people out there who want to get a little bit more of an understanding of the five daily prayers and need a visual approach to it, because I'm a visual person, and that's probably why the editing has taken so long. So, inshallah, it's of use to somebody out there, anybody who's new to the faith, anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about Islam. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully, you enjoy the video, and I'll see you at the end. And welcome to my Ramadan blog. Vlog with a V. Let's get one thing out of the way. This is not an extravagant vlog. Please don't expect to be wowed. And actually, it's just my quiet weekend during Ramadan, and I thought I could share it for those who are interested to see what that looks like for me. Currently 3:59. I have an hour and some minutes till Fajr, and I'm gonna pray tahajjud, but I still have a little time, and I know I probably want to clear up and clean up my my prayer area, so we're gonna go do that. One of the best things that I did for myself earlier this year was create a space dedicated for my art. So I'm being creative in this space. It doubles as an office, but this is also the area that I dedicate for prayer, so it's easy to step away from what I'm doing and pray. See, I always find hairpins, these hijab pins everywhere. I just found it on the floor. I was looking for this all week. You know what's funny? I actually thought that I would have time to do more art stuff, thinking maybe I'll have some low iman days, and I'll just want to this squeaking door quite literally snitched on me. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I thought that I would want to paint, and that didn't happen. I just ended up abandoning all of my art stuff. So yeah, this is my art channel, but get ready to just see my plain old self. It is 4:15. 4:16. I'm gonna try to put a battery in this, and I'm trying not to wake up my mom, but I'm pretty sure she hears all my steps. I really need a clock in this room, and what better time to put up a clock than at 4 o'clock in the morning? And I should probably find out what it's called. I'm old enough to read one, I'm just saying. But let's learn something here today. I knew it. Did you know? Because I just found out what these types of clocks are, or remind myself what it's called. It's called an analog clock. Yeah, I heard that before. Duh. Yeah, some people don't know how to read analog clocks, and I'm not trying to become one of those people getting stuck just using a digital clock. I think I'll probably keep it there for now, but I might end up changing my mind. After this random energy boost of cleaning, I went ahead and did my wudu so that I can pray tahajjud, and this is the ritual cleansing that you do before you pray. That little printout definitely held it down in my first year of practicing. So once the wudu is done, I am ready to pray, and I went ahead and prayed tahajjud. And I wanted to just make a note here that for these vlogs, I will not be recording myself praying. That's something that I would like to keep private. But if you're non-Muslim and you're curious to see what it looks like for Muslims to pray, I'm pretty sure you could YouTube it. And then after the prayer, I had sahur, which is the pre-dawn meal eaten before beginning the day's fasting during Ramadan. That was a mouthful. It's amazing to see how fast the time goes when you're timing yourself on when you have to stop eating. And for fasting, we stop eating before the first prayer of the day, which is called Fajr. Let me run it back for my non-Muslims or my new Muslims. Fajr is at 5:12 a.m. that day, so I stopped eating before then. I set my intention that I'm going to keep my fast for that day, and then I go make wudu, which is the thing that we did earlier, which is the cleaning, and then I go pray, the first obligatory prayer of the day. I really just want to. I actually have a pillow at the end of this, at the end in the corner. I'm just gonna lay down here. Just 2 minutes. And I actually did end up taking a nap again later on in the morning, which led me to wanting to go outside because my apartment does not have a lot of light. So I have to go outside and take a nice walk in the morning so that I don't feel so isolated. And while seeking nature is not exclusive to religiosity, but for me it does help set my mind frame for the day when I know I have these prayers coming up, and I'm trying to include voluntary prayers throughout the day as well. And one thing I learned is it takes just 20 minutes of connecting with nature to lower stress hormone levels. As a new Muslim, these moments serve as opportunities to contemplate the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Ahad, the one and only, Al-Halak, the creator. So it's a means to ground myself in my intentions on a daily basis, but especially during Ramadan. Let me explain why. During Ramadan, Muslims have do's and don'ts, some of which, to be honest, we should be doing our level best year-round to begin with. However, we are human, so we may fall short. So during Ramadan, we should be doing deeper self-reflection in order to increase and solidify good habits that will strengthen our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So during this holy month, we are encouraged to dedicate more time to recite and learn the Holy Quran. As you may figure, the Quran is written in Arabic, which I don't speak or read. Inshallah, one day I will understand the Arabic, but for now, most of my learning is by way of the English translations. So for this Ramadan, I had a bit of a system going on where I would read it in English or listen to the audio on Spotify. And then I would go and I listened to an Islamic lecture that would reflect and explain the surahs. And you know what? While it may feel a little intimidating learning the Quran, for me, I was watching Celebrate Mercy, Yaqeen Institute, and Epic Masjid online on YouTube. And alhamdulillah for that, because this Ramadan was filled with so much learning, and that for me was just like food for my soul, essentially. Alright, back to the timeline of my little vlog. I took my shell home, I cleaned my apartment, and then I really wanted to make it to Jumu'ah prayer at a local masjid, but... So here's what happened. It is currently 1:12, I think, and I'm going home because I didn't get into the masjid because it's my first time going to this masjid. It's technically the closest one to where I live, and I got to the entrance and all the men were like looking at me a little crazy, right? So I was like, all right, is this one of those masjids where they have a separate entrance for the women? I did end up having to ask a younger man, because I was like, oh, chances of like maybe him giving me a straight up answer would be like if I asked him, but he didn't speak English. And I was like, all right, he pulled out his Google Translate, and I was like, is there a women's section here? And he's like, oh, he asked another man, and he goes upstairs, but the older man said, yes, there's an upstairs section for women, but not for Juma. Alright, it's voiceover me. I just want it to be known that I keep doing this voiceover, and I keep having to move rooms because my neighbors keep blasting Mexican music. Alright, anyways, Jumu'ah prayer, meaning Friday prayer, is the midday prayer that is held at the masjid. It's obligatory for Muslim men to attend in order to listen to the sermon given by the imam and then pray in congregation. Any other day of the week, Duhur is the midday prayer in this time slot, and if you can't pray Jumu'ah, meaning you're exempt, you would just pray Duhur. And that's what I ended up doing. And yeah, there was a language barrier there. I couldn't understand them, they couldn't understand me, and I have a feeling, and from what I hear from my friends, that they were probably just at capacity for the Jumu'ah midday prayer for men because it's obligatory for them to attend and not necessary for women to go. So it's probable that this masjid uses the women's section for the Jumu'ah prayer for the men, and that's it. Time, though. That was like the good part, because I was like, oh, people are just going in, like cool. I don't know if I would go again. Maybe I would try, but for another time. I mean, the older man did say you can come back for Maghrib, you can come back for Iftar, and I was just there like, Okay. And as much as I did want to go to a masjid for Jummah prayer, the fastest thing that I could do to offer my prayer was just go straight home. It just wasn't written for me that day. Yep, so this is me setting my prayer mat down, getting ready to offer to her, which is the second prayer of the day. The phone has been on 6% for like the past hour. Oh, it's on 4% now. I am gonna put Ayat al Kursi to replay because I'm still learning it, and really quickly, but this is what I would have worn if I'm gonna go to Tarawih. Tarawih. I'm gonna go to that later. It's a modest dress, but it's not made for hijabis, right? Because it has that, and I just have like a turtleneck underneath. I think I might just change and something more comfortable, because whenever I raise my hands, right? Whenever I go like this during prayer, this shifts down, and I don't really like that. You know, vlogging is a bit of a challenge. I kind of forgot that I was supposed to be recording until Asr, which is the third of the 5 obligatory daily prayers, in the later part of the afternoon. And around this time, my mom was cooking chiles rellenos and was making some agua de Jamaica. And it kind of reminds me a little bit that I'm fasting. It's not too much of a challenge, but when the apartment smells like food, you're obviously going to remember. All right, I'm going to get ready to go to my sister's house, and this is what I'm wearing, because if I have to make ablution, aka just cleaning up before prayer, I wanted something easier to wear, because the other one I had to pin the dress to the shirt and the hijab and blah blah blah. So this is what I'm wearing. It is just a black skirt that I got at the thrift shop, and I'm gonna put up that video hopefully soon. Thrifting in, I don't know where we were, Philadelphia or New Jersey, but my sister took me, and I think I got the skirt, I can look at the receipt, but I definitely got it for less than $5. And yeah, I got this sweater too at a thrift shop. My hijab is from Veiled Collection, and the turtleneck is a hand-me-down from my sister, who I'm going to go see right now. Alright, I'm on my way to my sister's house. I got the food my mom sent her. So I ended up stopping by the 99-cent store for some safety pins, but then I saw that they had straight pin needles, which are essentially what you would use to pin down the hijab. And I've come a long way figuring out what looks good on me, or at least what's comfortable for me. And I've tried the magnets to try to minimize like cutting through the fabric, but hey, I've lost all of my magnets. I was down to 2 straight pin needles, and I was just gonna go ahead and restock for that, because just like you losing your socks in the laundry, your straight pins are gonna disappear, and when you find them, you're probably gonna end up stepping on it, or at least like finding it in the least expected place. So here comes Maghrib time, which is the sunset prayer, and during Ramadan this is the time when we break our fast, and that's what I did at my sister's house. And then I went ahead and prayed Maghrib on her porch. Along with my chile relleno, I actually had some L&B's pizza that my sister ordered for her boyfriend's birthday, and I quickly had to head out so that I can make my way to the masjid for Isha prayer and Tarawih. So I did actually end up coming alone to the masjid today, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, I just wanted to explain a little bit about what it's like to go to the masjid. If you're a new Muslim, this might be a little intimidating. Trust me, when I first started to go, it definitely made me a little nervous. But once you get an idea of what to do when you get there, you kind of blend in, you know. But then you also should be able to reach out to the people there, because the times that I've reached out to like some of the main people at the masjid, they are always accepting, they always answer my questions, and yeah, so don't be intimidated, just, you know, take it one day at a time every time you go. All right, so for example, as a woman, I would find the women's section. I arrived this day with my wudu already done, but if not, you would go ahead and do that and then go into the praying room getting ready to pray, but have your shoes off and store them in the appropriate storage. And then before sitting down, I have come to understand that it is sunnah, it's recommended to offer 2 rakat of prayer, which is called tahiyat al masjid. So sorry if I'm butchering that, which means greeting the mosque. And I look at it as a action of gratitude that you're able to pray at a masjid, that there's one available to you, that you're in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, you kind of, for me, I've come to actually really look forward to it, because I go to a masjid, I tend to feel a little flustered, or at least a little nervous. So in terms of like why I personally have implemented it, it reminds me of the reason as to why I'm there. So arriving early is definitely something that I try to do so I can offer it at my own pace, because you do it alone. Like, you do it once you get there. Once you get there, you do it. Once somebody else gets there, they do it. And it's not done in congregation. So once that's done, like on this specific night, I waited for Isha prayer to start, which is the last obligatory prayer of the day. That's the fifth, 5 of 5. And then for Ramadan, after Isha prayer comes a voluntary prayer that is highly recommended, or a lot of people choose to attend it because there's a lot of reward for it during Ramadan. People enjoy going to the masjid, like to end their day in the month of Ramadan, which is called Taraweeh. And like, this masjid does it in 2 rakat. Like, it's like 2 rakat after 2 rakat after 2 rakat. Trust me, when I went the first time, I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to keep up or whatever. But once you get into the rhythm of like how a specific masjid like goes about praying it, you kind of get used to it. And it's a really beautiful moment that I experienced this Ramadan, to be able to go. And once Taraweeh was done, right, that kind of lasted about an hour, I think. So some masjids do 8 rakat, or they do up to, I think, 20 or so. For this particular night, it took about an hour, and then that's it. That's how my night ended. And so this is just me going home, and this is the end of my day. But I just wanted to add here that one of my main goals this Ramadan was to go to the masjid, and one of which was the opportunity to go to Taraweeh prayers, because I had been trying to do them at home by myself, but it's a little hard to navigate, when you're kind of on your own. All right, the time has come to finally log off this super long vlog. Inshallah, this video is helpful to somebody out there, and it would mean a lot for me if you subscribe to my channel, or leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.